Who better than me?
Welcome back to another episode, or the weekend wrap-up episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. I'm going to forego everything else. I'm going to get this one done quick, so let's get into it. Okay, so I guess I'm going to talk about a couple quick topics that have sort of popped up this week. First one, I guess, will be Amir Khan. He recently spoke about the fact he's a bit pissed off about not having an OBE or like an MBE or something after his name, based on the amount of high level and high profile charity work that he does within communities. Obviously he was an Olympic silver medalist as opposed to being a gold medalist, which some of those seem to kind of get those accreditations. But he was the reason why there was a Olympic British team past 2004 in the first place, realistically. So yeah, I can see why you'd be a bit pissed as to why you haven't got the same acknowledgements as some others. He did allude to maybe it being the fact that he's of Pakistani descent, but he didn't want to double down on that. Maybe after his career's over and he's no longer tied to those organizations, he might just start letting off those kind of shots, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. Also, we've got Tim Smith from sort of PBC has literally just come out, I believe it was yesterday, stating that the Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight will probably no longer be able to happen just because it doesn't generate the kind of money that they can afford to put it on for what the two fighters want, which is highly comical because prior to that it was, well, you're on the wrong side of the street for us to be able to do a deal with you, and didn't want to do any sort of 50-50 collaborations with Top Rank or putting it so that both teams apply their money together in order to make the event happen. And then prior to that it was, well, Terence Crawford needs a belt in order to face Errol Spence, so he vacated all of his titles at 140, came up to 147, got a belt, and it still hasn't happened. So when you get consistent, you get a consistent amount of obstacles just being put in the way, or deflections or reasons why something can't happen, ultimately you have to then choose why this isn't happening. So is it literally just because we can't afford to put it on, or is it just a case that you are scared to have that fight with a guy who's not of the same promotion as you? Because as of right now he's a free agent. Terence Crawford's a free agent. Errol Spence is signed to the PBC, Showtime and Fox. So when you look at it, you then say, okay, well, it's got to be one or the other. Because if you can't afford to put that fight on, then shop the fight around. Why would you not? I mean, you don't have to pay for it. Let another organization do it. Loan Errol Spence out. Get a fee. If anything, you can have that, like a finder's fee or management fee or something like that. Get it done. Because if Errol Spence beats Terence Crawford, then he has the keys to the kingdom. He's undisputedly crowned as the best guy at the welterweight division. Can move up and do whatever he wants, create other legacy. He can have nothing but money fights moving forward. But this is always going to be a stain on his record, no matter what he does afterwards, that he didn't fight the one guy in his division that the people thought could challenge him. But I've spoken about that enough. What other little tidbits have we got of news this week? What's the name? Derek Chisora. He's actually said that he's in support of the potential Deontay Wilder fight if it happens. I mean, look, regardless of what we want to say about Derek, and I've slated him quite a lot over the years. I used to say he's just about British level, until I did remember that he did win the European title on his 4th attempt. So, or it was his 3rd attempt, and then he had a 4th attempt here and lost that. But either way, so he's at the European level, and I unfortunately can't put him anywhere above European level fighter. However, some people will say that he's world class or world level or fringe world. I don't have him that high, but he is like a high level or a high caliber Kamil Sokolowski, maybe, or a world level Kamil Sokolowski. That's probably the best way to put it. Never really gonna win anything, not the greatest, you know, no sort of real high prospects, but you go in there with him, you have a long night. It's not going to be an easy fight for you, especially with the fact that he's not going to take any fights on 5 days notice kind of thing, unless it was, you know, maybe a championship fight where he's getting paid 8 or 9 or 10 million pounds or dollars or whatever. He might do that, but otherwise he's going to have his training camps. He's going to be in just the biggest and the best fights for him and make his money. But yeah, he reminds me of Kamil Sokolowski in that sense, and even someone like Iago Kaladze. Like, they're not really gonna do anything of great notes, but they're not coming in just to lay down. They do actually try when they get in the ring. So yeah, if he would, but I've said before, people within my group chats will see this. I'm sure I've said it on live streams as well. I actually would not find it impossible for him to beat Deontay Wilder, or at least to survive a 12 rounds and not get knocked out, simply because he does the one thing that Deontay Wilder does not like, and that's someone that will push you back, that will stay in close to you, stay on your chest. And as long as those levers are of Wilder's, he has to have maximum extension, or at least enough of an extension on them to be able to generate the power that he does have. Someone who's sitting on your chest all night is not going to allow you to do that, and Wilder's not exactly great with the uppercuts or pivoting in order to create that sort of space and angle. And if you've got someone coming back at you that's just doing nothing but throwing shots at you anyway, you don't get the chance to set up the same shots that you would have had before. So yeah, I guess it's if a fight happened between the two of them, I'd definitely watch it. And like I said, I would give fairly good odds to Chisora to either win or at least come through all 12 rounds. But yeah, okay, so actually there's probably one other little small tidbit that I should talk about. Now, initially I was told this information about 4 or 5 days ago from one of my sources over in the States. I was told to keep it quiet, not to say anything just yet, but it actually got leaked by someone else the day I got told, funnily enough. On the live stream, it got leaked by someone else, and I was like, right, okay, so there goes that exclusive. But now it seems to kind of be doing the rounds. So because of that, I thought, let me just sort of address it and give my take on what could potentially be happening. So we look to say that it now seems that Canelo Alvarez will no longer be looking at the Makabu fight for May. And I think this all stems from Don King, just because of the Tabisu Machunu fight that he's got to have at the end of January. I don't think Canelo camp want to wait around to find out what happens by the end of that fight. So the rumor is that he's actually going to be staying with the PBC for one more fight, or doing another deal with them for May time. And the suggestion is that it will be Jermall Charlo. Now, Jermall Charlo put out a post, I think, on his Instagram the other day. I didn't see it, but I heard about it, where he said that he's going to be the biggest 168 pounder. And then he also put out a picture next of like a mock-up of him versus Caleb Plant. And I think Caleb said, yeah, that's easy work. If you want to do it, let's do it. But obviously, before he was coming out talking that he wanted David Benavidez. Now, the two people that everyone talks with regards to Canelo is Charlo and Benavidez from PBC. A lot of people say that Canelo's been ducking Charlo since 154. I think first they said he might have been ducking Jamel initially, and then when they went up to 160 and Jamel went up to 160, obviously he got made franchise champion instead of having to fight Jamel, who was his mandatory at the time, and Jamel got elevated up to the world title. So everyone who's had that narrative for however long, what, the last sort of 4 years, saying, oh, he's been ducking Jamel for a while, they won't have that narrative again if the reports are to be believed. So I won't talk too much about it just now because it's not something that's guaranteed, but if it does get there, then ultimately I'll definitely have some more thoughts on it. But yeah, that seems to be the news, that Canelo's going to be staying on PBC for his next bout. Let's see where we get to. Okay, so another bit of boxing news that's come out recently, although I know there's going to be a couple people in the comments yelling at me that it's not boxing news, and I'm already expecting a certain someone to start lambasting me over bringing it up. But as it's something quickly to talk about, Money May, Floyd Mayweather's coming back for yet another exhibition or some form of contest. No idea exactly who it's going to be against yet, but supposedly some 19-year-old YouTuber called Money Kicks, some like Saudi Arabian billionaire's son or something like that. I ain't gonna say too much on it, but you know, Floyd said he was done with this last year after going the distance with Logan Paul. I guess that just shows how much of a liar he is, or it just communicates that times really are hard and the bag must be acquired at all costs at this point. The money's got to be dwindling. I mean, we've heard these stories for a long time now, and I'm pretty sure that he's rich people broke. He was doing adverts for some gel blaster thing, the TMT edition. No one I know still knows what the hell a gel blaster is. Doing Windows commercials and all other sort of, and I don't mean Microsoft Windows, I'm talking about double glazing in the UK of all places, plus all these other appearances and brands that aren't really that indicative of a sports star and icon such as himself. So yeah, it's another sad sight to see. I don't know if there'd be any UK or US broadcasters willing to sort of pick this one up. Although if I know Sky, they probably wouldn't mind. They need all the content they can get at this point. But yeah, I thought I'd touch on it because it was something that happened over the last few days. But yeah, we're going to leave that one there.